we'll have something that we'll share to other folks who've heard the terms, but they really don't understand what executive coaching is. And so before we begin, I'd like to just say, again, I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell. I'm the executive director of the Fairleigh Dickinson University Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Our focus is on researching, supporting, and promoting entrepreneurship in the areas of student entrepreneurship, veteran entrepreneurship, family business entrepreneurship, and urban entrepreneurship. And so we're really trying to promote these and are almost evangelical about the importance of small businesses, families, and to jobs in America, to the economy. One of the keys and one of the reasons we're excited about this seminar, which is the first in 2022, is to really talk about executive coaching. This profession has become, and I'm sure Joe would agree, more important than it ever has been. Mm-hmm. And that things have gotten more complex and more intense. The challenges of the pandemic, the challenges of stress. And so people need coaches. And anybody who's a sports fan knows the best players in history all had a coach, all had someone who really helped them become better. So coaching isn't about helping you go from bad to decent. It's really helping you go from good to great. And that's what this session is today. So Joe, as always, I always like origin stories. I'd like you to start out with your background and how did you end up being such an expert at executive coaching?
Sure. So for about the first 20 years of my career, I had a marketing agency and we worked with organizations all over the globe. And I found myself doing a really great job at letting everyone look amazing on the outside, right? It was all about their brand. It was all about their appearance. It was all about what their story, how they wanted to show up to attract clients, right? And brand themselves. And I like to say that the next 20 years of my career, or the last 20 years of my career, I've been spending making people look good and feel good on the inside. Wonderful. Through the use of executive coaching. Because we really are working with the human. And what I found out in my journey with the marketing agency, as I became more, I want to say intimately in a professional way involved with business owners, that were sharing their problems and their challenges, I really saw that when you really peeled the onion back, the layers off, every business problem is really a people problem or a personal problem. And as I developed relationships with them over, 20 years, they shared that. So I began to shift more into a consulting role, right? And then I guess around 2011, I went back for some postgraduate certifications in executive coaching, leadership development. So my undergraduate degrees are in economics and business. So I sort of blanket everything. I have an MBA in marketing and I hold a pending MCC. I'm a PCC with the International Coach Federation in the process of attaining my MCC credential, hopefully by the end of the month.
Wonderful. And you are my mentor in coaching. So I'm an ACC close to being a PCC. I don't know if I ever will be doing the MCC, but that's key. And so what part of the reason we do it, and Joe was on before, but now there's Joe's program that has been ICF certified is under FDU and the Rothman Institute. So we are now offering people this opportunity to become certified executive coaches. And so talk about the process you went through to make this ICF certified. Not everybody can do this. It is very intense and very hard. And so tell folks about this.
For a long time. I do want to just give you a little kudos. You're saying that I'm your mentor. I'm saying you're my mentor because you did encourage me to do the MCC. Most business professionals stay at the PCC level, right? Because we Ignite Business Partners is we work with individuals, teams, and organizations to develop their people, right? Develop their teams. And we do that through coaching, consulting, and executive coaching and education. What brought me, how this arose, was, I guess around 5 years ago, I really began to see the level of individual or the credentials of individuals that were out there calling themselves coaches.
Mm.
They may have been extremely successful,
Mhm.
very high-ranking C-suite individuals. It didn't matter. They were calling themselves coaches, but yet they didn't have a skill set.
Mm.
So we saw a little bit, I saw a little bit of that in the market. And I also saw that the geography of leadership was changing,
Mm.
and that the old model of do as I say, that fear-based, that hierarchical model was not effective in this century. It was not working well. We are more now about working on teams, collaborating, and not necessarily a clearly defined leader, but a shared responsibility for success or failure, where it doesn't just fall back on the leader. You're truly a working unit. The definition of a healthy organization have cultures that are engaged and vibrant. And so we began to work with a lot of clients pertaining to that. And I do a lot of work in the educational field. And I was asked to write a leadership development program. And I thought, you know what? Maybe this is the universe. I like to say God, but politically correct, the universe. This was God, the universe, bringing me an opportunity to sort of fuel my passion of, education and business, and bringing the best of them together. So I reached out to the International Coach Federation to learn about their process. And it took me, it was long. It was probably well over a year. They monitor you, they audit your program, they look at your materials. They're very, very stringent requirements. And a couple of years ago, we were able to achieve that ICF accreditation. So and I will say, I don't want to get into too much of it now, but the ICF right now is actually reorganizing. They are now calling it coach education, not coach training. So they're little semantics there, right? And they are making a few changes to the levels of programming and accreditation. So
And you stay on top. It's amazing how you stay on top of all of that, and it's interesting. And so one of the things that's going back to the MCC is that one of the things I like to do, they call it exhortation, and is encouragement when you see people who are talented. And so the Rothman team of Sue Slavin and Maura Panuski are just two of the most talented women that I know who've helped put together all these programs that people think we have a team of 50 people, but we put together all these programs. And so just encouraging them to use their God-given gifts, if you will, and to do that. And you have this gift. And I'm telling you, I just know how great a teacher Joe is. And so this course will not only be educational, it'll be fun, and it'll be transformative. And so it's important for people to do that. And so for the basics, coaching, what is coaching, Joe? What it really is coaching for those that don't really understand or have ever had a coach?
Sure. I do want to just tap onto tag onto what you just said. The program is absolutely transformational. The training is transformational coaching, not transactional coaching.
Right.
We'll learn about those two different things in the program, right? There are times where you do transactional coaching. That's an in the moment external type problem. Transformational coaching is really working with the whole human, the core person, to get those inner shifts. And when you get those inner shifts, you have sustainable change. So I loved how you phrase it. I phrase it very similar. I like to say that coaching is taking people from ordinary to extraordinary, right? We differentiate coaching from other helping modalities, such as therapy, because we say that in those mental health roles, people are just going from, they are in a dysfunctional place and they need to become functional, right? As coaches, we take people from functional to optimal. Right. And they are dealing with healthy people. We all have the same challenges. I like to say that, like, only the names change. I mean, if you blindfolded me and brought different clients in, you really realize the humanity in everyone and see that we really are struggling with the same challenges. And through good communication and collaboration, not just with your coach, but then bringing that skill set back to your organization, you can really create thriving teams and cultures and see a significant ROI. So why do people come to coaching?
Yep.
Right.
Let me before I always like to give a shout out to people. I see Professor Ron West, who's chair of the accounting department, is with us, and Ron, some of the young people coming in, accounting is the coaching can actually help you become effective as an accountant and dealing with that sort of thing. So it crosses all professions, and that those that may be doing one thing for a long time may say, hey, I'd like to really delve deeper into how I can make people, transform people to be exceptional. So anyway, I just wanted to give that shout out.
Yeah. But when you say, why do most people come to coaching or use coaching? Why do organizations outsource to executive coaching education or team coaching, which is really a new field the ICF is blazing a trail with? We just came out with the new ICF team coaching competencies. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that in the program. But I hope that program will then, be another offering through FDU, because we're right on the cusp of that happening.
Wonderful.
So Dale, I'm gonna ask you, do you remember the ICF definition of coaching?
I don't have it memorized. I know generally.
As I'm Googling it, full transparency.
While you're doing that, I want to call out Matt Wells, who's now part of the team too. And so he is leading the SBDC now, the FDU SBDC. And so providing, again, free consulting to small businesses. So if you're a certified coach and you have your own business and you're looking for some guidance in developing your business, the SBDC will provide free training and consulting for you. So really look at what we're trying to do at Rothman is to provide offering for all levels of entrepreneurs and folks who are really trying to be transformative. So do you have the official definition?
Yeah, so we do go over this official definition, but within the industry, of course, ICF certified coaches, our model is based on the core competencies, the foundation principles, and the ICF code of ethics. However, as with anything, you have to take things and make them your own. So the official, which is why a lot of us don't always remember exactly what it is, because when we're going to repeat it, we want it to come from an authentic place because we're coaches, right? So they define coaching specifically as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. The process of coaching often unlocks previously untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. So you and I sum it up as ordinary to extraordinary, but we're really saying the same thing. It's about change, and it's about getting from where you are to where you want to be.
And no matter where you are, and again, and there's executive coaching, there's life coaching, there's it's really about taking people to the next level.
Yes. And the one thing that you and I've talked about a few times before we launched was, what are we? Is it executive coaching? Is it professional coaching? The real answer is that this program will give you the skills that you need to coach within any industry. So coaching skills are a toolkit. So that does not mean that you don't want to bring your own personal professional acumen to the process. But Dale, I'm sure you've heard them say this. In pure coaching, the same tools that you use to coach a neurosurgeon are the same tools that you may use to coach a high school student. It seems very drastic, but as coaches, we sit in non-judgment. We're using pure tools and skills and not bring anything else to it. So I want to encourage everyone, if you are considering transitioning into a coaching practice, this program is for you. If you have had some training, but are looking to be acknowledged by the ICF, which is the gold standard in the industry. We have over 30,000 global members.
Mhm. Mhm.
I said this the other day. I feel like the ICF credential walks in the room before you do. When you
Right.
see that credential after someone's name, you understand the depth of training that they had and the skill set that they have developed. You
And,
cannot get that in a 1 hour or a weekend course.
Joe,
which-
but the world is changing because years ago, before ICF really, and I was a certified financial planner early on when they were, I'm not anymore, but when they
Mhm.
first came out. And so I saw the organization develop, and CFP has become a very accepted standard. We have a CFP program at FDU.
Yes.
But I also see ICF has come to a level where people may have been coaching for 20, 25 years, but now companies are saying, what's your credential? And so it's almost essential for folks to grow their business to do that. Now, I see we have a question about the difference between consulting and coaching. And I just want to start off with my own personal experience. So I was at Deloitte Consulting for 11 years. I've done consulting for 25 years. And consulting, you go, you analyze the problem, you tell people what they should do. So I went to a coaching program, and it was part of the mindset change. And I felt initially this whole idea of coaching is you ask people, where are you from? What are you doing? And I said, well, I don't feel like I did anything. And they say, that's the best thing I ever had, because you're helping them develop themselves. So why don't you talk a little more about that? So I just became a big believer. I still love doing consulting, but I have to wear a very different hat than I do with executive coaching.
Yeah. And I do the same when I do consulting, but I would bet, even though you wear a different hat when you're consulting, you're still using the coaching, the communication skills.
Yeah.
And so you said it perfectly. When you really look at it, when you're hired as a consultant, you're hired to go in and tell the company what to do, right? Make recommendations. In coaching, you're partnering with the organization. You're co-creating a plan for change, and you're supporting them through that change. So there's let me just think real quick of the name of the book. It just came out last year. There's a great book called Coach the Person, Not the Problem.
Interesting.
And she says, I'm embarrassed to say I do not recall her name right now. Anyone jump in if you know it. Very well known within the coaching industry. But she says, when she defines coaching, she'll say, I have it on my bookshelf, I just can't get to it quickly. If you're doing anything else besides coaching, you're not coaching.
Is that Marsha Reynolds?
Yes, Marsha Reynolds. Yes, it's a great book. And as a matter of fact, we read the book in the program. It's one of the readings that we do, that we talk about. What we're seeing is a lot of consultants. We're seeing also a lot of therapists and social workers saying that they are coaching, using that term, but they really are not coaching.
Right.
If you're doing anything else besides building a coaching conversation, you're not coaching. I think that what people have seen and what you've experienced is you can have a conversation with a person from a consulting capacity and have the same conversation from a coaching capacity. And the change happens within them. Yeah. And that change is sustainable. So for example, a great example I use is that occasionally, years ago, I would go in to do a lot of sales training, right? So maybe an organization was having a problem and they had to hit a particular number, and they just wanted me to get this team to hit that number. So we would do whatever we needed to do in a consulting capacity to make that happen. The next quarter, because there was no individual buy-in or change or shift, they would have the same problem. Right. Where now, I call it my ethical bait and switch. I will sell you what you want, but I'm going to give you what you need. Right. Now, when we go in, we build it as a team coaching program, because when you can get everyone on board and get that collaboration and get that buy-in, when you can tap your inner passion and purpose to external goals and use strategies to get there, that is real change. That is sustainable.
Right.
And
Right.
it's learned. Coaching activates different areas of the brain, as we know, plasticity. And during the coaching process, coaches are tapping into that neuroplasticity
Mhm.
through their work to have people look at things from different angles, turn them upside down, left, right, whatever we need to do, right, to get them thinking outside of the box, changing stagnant thinking patterns. We have I'm gonna fudge these numbers a little bit, but you can Google it if you want while I'm saying it. If we have 80,000, I think it's 60,000 thoughts a day.
Mhm.
I believe I should have looked this up before I said it, right? But allow yourself to be vulnerable, right? That's what we're all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
80% of them are negative thoughts. 80% of them are repetitive thoughts,
Wow.
and they are negative thoughts.
Mm.
I think the Mayo Clinic is where that came out of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that makes, I've heard something like that. I don't know the exact,
Yeah, I don't want to,
but
say
the point
this.
is, is a good one.
Yeah, I don't want to say, and when we talk about in the program, we really take a deep dive into that, where we are actually working as coaches on our coaching mindset when we're working with clients or when
Yeah.
we're in our organization, and what we need to do to get in that mindset and to be very present, right? And to quiet those thoughts. And we also learn about different levels of listening so
Mhm.
that we can hear what's being said, what's not being said. I mean, as coaches, as you know, Dale, we're listening to breath, we're
Yeah.
listening to pauses, we are listening to the crumpling of a piece of paper. We are listening to everything. Back when I trained, which was 15 years ago, we didn't have Zoom.
Mhm.
Our coaching was done on the telephone.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I love my students. I encourage them, even though we have Zoom, I encourage them to still practice on the phone with each other, because when you eliminate all the other senses and you just have one sense that you're using, it sharpens.
Right.
And
Right.
even though I do Zoom sessions and I go in person, I really, really love my coaching sessions with executives where they have an hour for lunch and we're just on the phone and we're working.
Well, and that's it. But see, it's important because a lot of people don't realize that we as smart human beings have learned to mask our real selves. One of the
Yeah.
reasons I'm certified in the DISC assessment, and one of the reasons I like that, it has your natural and adapted self. So it tells you, so you could be working in a job and your natural self is this way, but your adapted self is this way. So you're doing what you're supposed to do in your job, but you really hate it because that's not who you are. And
Yeah.
so in coaching, you really want to see and get a sense of, and they may not even know they're faking it. They may not even know they're pretending. They've just covered it up. But when you can help people to release that, you start to be transformative in who they are and how they live their career.
You know, back when I was in grad school, they had this phrase. I don't even know if they use it now anymore, but they said, remember, happy workers are productive workers.
Mhm, mhm.
Do you remember that phrase?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm aging myself now, but it is really, really true. And so that's the wonderful thing. If you're a leader in an organization, if you're a manager, if you're C-suite, going through this program is going to significantly help how you engage with your employees.
Well,
And that engagement will increase productivity. You can have the best marketing and business strategy in the world. If you do not have a culture and people strategy to execute it, that is a healthy culture and a healthy strategy, you will not be able to execute that business strategy. You will fail over and over and over again.
well, and I think it's important too. Again, we're certified coaches. We're focusing on the certification, but the program is really good for people. As I said, right, Ron, Matt Wells is as I said, with the SBDC, Ron with accounting. So say you don't want to be an ICF certified coach, but by going through this process, you'll be able to really understand your clients and connect with your current clients and your prospective clients even better.
Yeah.
And so why don't we get into kind of the nuances of your program? If you can kind of talk about how does someone sign up, or we have some information session. How do you find out about it? And let's kind of walk people through that.
And I want to also just suggest that, of course, we're talking ICF because that is the gold standard in the industry. For those that are considering shifting into a career in coaching, or for those that are in corporations that will only hire people for certain positions that have that credential, that's important. But what coaching is really, it is really a skill set. And that skill set is transferable to all different situations.
Yep. So
this will help you in your relationships at home, with your children, with your friends, with your colleagues. This may be something for us to work on. I really think that some of these skills should be given to children in elementary school. Right? This language of coaching that we have. I mean, think about, we may be getting a little bit too deep, but think about as coaches, when we look at the past a little bit, and we see during our early domestication how we heard things and we downloaded them into our brains as making it about us, right? We didn't have that skill then, but then as adults, we learn these skills and that skill, and we have breakthroughs. And I just think that I would love to see it brought, some of the training even brought more to teachers so that they could use it in the classroom.
Well, Sue and Maura on the Rothman team know it's don't mention any new things to Dale, because I'm already writing down, thinking about, I'm president of school boards, to think about coach relationships, to really talk about how kids can, how kids can interact. Because again, I have a 17-year-old daughter. I see the challenges that young people go through, and this is it. We're in a time where there's incredible conflict. We have social media and technology pulling people apart. Really pulling people apart like never before in history. It's just when you see the bullying that goes on site, and the making fun of, and if you don't look perfect, and and so this whole idea of really trying to help people come together with themselves first, so that they can be better with other people. And so when are our sessions? Let's get to some of the nuts and bolts about when are the sessions, and how do we get people in the program?
Okay, great. And just so you know, Dale, Maura, Susan, and I have our own little list going to present to you as well.
Okay, all right. So they know
so whatever you're writing down, we've already written down. We just
exactly.
haven't had a chance to grab you yet.
Okay.
So our program, the FDU program, is 135 hours of coach specific training. The program will meet the requirements for a PCC level certification from an educational hours perspective, not from a coaching hours perspective. So the program is going to be running from January 27th through the end of April. I know right now I haven't been staying on top of the specifics, but I do believe, Dale, and maybe Susan could maybe share the screen or throw it up, that I believe we do have an early registration tuition discount.
Yep. Sue, do you want to pop back on, and do you have that, or pull it up if you can, and then we can do that.
I can pull it up if she wants me to. I don't know if I have permission.
Do you want me to, or I can share the website, or the link?
Share the website.
I'll share the link in the chat.
Okay. Do you want me to share the website? I have it pulled up.
Yeah, pull it up. Yeah, pull it up. Pull it up.
Okay. I'm not sure if I have permission to share. Let me just.
Yeah, you should.
I do have permission to share. You're so good to me. Good to me. Now let's see. Let's make sure that I get you to the right. because I have a few monitors going here. I need to make sure I have you at the right monitor. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go to the bottom. Let's just look at these numbers, the impact of executive coaching, just for a second. 86% of organizations saw a positive ROI with a coaching engagement. 88% an increase in productivity when coaching is combined with training. Dale, that's what I was talking about with the sales training program, right? 98% of individuals who were surveyed would hire a coach again. And this is the big number for those of you that are looking for professional development within your career. There's almost a 90% improved communication, optimized individual and team performance. So that's for those executives, whether you're in HR, whether you're C-suite, you're whatever level manager you are, the skills are really essential. So let's go down to Susan's section, which I think is at the bottom. No, why don't I have that? Oh, here we go. I'm on the wrong page. There's our pretty page.
There you go. Yep.
You can absolutely download a brochure. If you download the brochure from our website, you will not automatically be added to our mailing list. So if you would like more information, please email us or give us a call, but you can get the brochure immediately. And let's go down to Susan's section. We're just talking about that. Okay, yeah. So early registration, the program is discounted by $1,000, $84.97. And then it goes up to $94.97. So just want to mention that. And we can go over some of the specifics.
Right. But also most of the programs are over $10,000 for this. And
yes.
And once you do this, all it takes is one coaching engagement and you get it back.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it may sound like a lot, but it's a great investment in your time.
So I have students that went through my program in 2020, and several of them are applying for their PCC already, which is 750 hours of coach training, and they had clients during the program. So the thing that I want to also mention that's different about our program as well is that you will leave the first cohort with the ability to coach people. So you'll be able to use the skills immediately. So a little bit about the program. It is 135 hours. The philosophy and approach of the program is rooted in the ICF core competencies. We've spoken about that. All of the training is live. There is nothing that is recorded. It's very experiential. So we are rolling up our sleeves and getting to work. There's no jumping into this class and showing me a black box. You have to be here and you have to participate. Because in order to get through this program, you have to meet certain criteria to graduate as well. It's not you take this and you go. There's a lot of work that's involved, but it's interesting work. It's powerful work. The other thing that I want to mention is that all of our instructors and our mentor coaches have master's degrees or higher, and they are accredited through the International Coaching Federation. The upcoming cohort, 135 hours. These are the dates. We kick off January 27th. That's the first cohort. Second cohort is February 24th.
Well, so let's so January 27th to the 29th. So it's not, we talked about January to April, but it's not every day, every week in those. Yeah. It's really just, I mean, you'll be doing work in between, but it won't interfere if you're working full time. Just take a couple days.
So
well worth it.
The way the cohort works, because I think this is a little bit different than when you went through it, Dale, or I went through it, is we have, we come together for 3 days for the first cohort in January. And then over the next month, we will meet once a week on a Tuesday evening for class. Then we will come together as a group, as a community, in February for 3 days. And then we will meet on Tuesdays and so on and so on. And then that will happen in March as well. And then in April, for our last cohort, it is only 2 days. I can't express enough the relationships and the community that is built through these cohorts. Every graduating class from this program in previous years continues to stay together, and they continue to meet in individual mastermind groups once a month. They're doing business together. They're sharing resources. So we don't want you to, come and go. We want you to join the Ignite Fairly family and stay with us, and support the other projects that the Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship works on, which is what Susan and Maura have really built out. So the delivery is face-to-face. Everything is online. We will add closed captioning if requested. And then we have that registration. Do you want to take a look at a little bit of the learning concepts, Dale?
Yeah, please, if you could, I would love to see.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
So people get a real sense of what it is.
Yeah, I also want to mention that the types of individuals that have come to through the program are corporate executives, business owners, salespeople. We see a lot of HR professionals. I have had several educators as well last year, budding entrepreneurs, and they could be a new entrepreneur, or they could be an executive that has been a CEO of an organization and they're looking to do a career shift into retirement. So the variety is wonderful, and that brings a lot of culture to the class. So I'm not going to go through all of them. Just if everyone wants.
Joe, before that, I want to, our friend Iris Billy is here. Well, welcome, Iris. Do you assist with ideas on the way we can source clients after graduating from the program? That's you go through the program, and is there a marketing component to help people develop their business?
So you can source clients during the program. Not after the program.
But does the course help them do that?
Yes, we have we will do some business building, absolutely, towards the end of the program. The other thing that's a little bit different about our program is, you mentioned DISC. We spend some time on several assessments so that everyone kind of has a toolkit to pull from. So we look at DISC, we look at I think that there's a list somewhere. We look at DISC, we look at emotional intelligence, EQI 2.0, and as an individual and as a 360. We look at motivators. We have, we're going to look at the ProSci models. We're going to look at predictive index is another partnership that I have. We will look at, did I say the 5 behaviors? I love that assessment. But there will be different tools for additional learning should you want to go on and add them to your repertoire. So yes, we encourage people to start coaching right away. That's kind of like our secret sauce. The other thing is that you will have a significant amount of coaching hours completed before the end of this program to use towards your ICF accreditation.
Right. Can I say something? One of the unique things that I think we're probably unique in the country is not only this great program, but we also have the Small Business Development Center, which is aligned and really controlled by the same group. Rutgers has this, but they're not necessarily connected to any coaching. So what we can do is really help people who come out of the program for free can sign up with the SBDC and really begin to develop their coaching process and work with consultants like Matt and our team. So it's really kind of a 1-2 punch that not only can you get the expertise, you can actually and get some insight into growing your business, but you can actually develop a very competitive business afterwards. And I don't know if there are many programs that actually have that combination. The
other thing as well is just to that, I mean, I have my my MBA is in marketing. So we're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about positioning. We're going to talk about target markets. We're going to look at all of that in this program. And as I said, we encourage everyone to stay within our community, because then we can support each other along the way. The other day, somebody posted in the private community, I have to do a proposal. I've never done one before. Does anyone have a template? And another coach shared their template from their cohort, right? You also always have myself and Dale as a resource to support you after the program. Again, this is really about building a community and sharing the coaching journey together, no matter where you are in the program, whether you've been coaching for 1 year or you've been coaching for 20, there's always something to learn.
Wonderful. Yeah, you want to talk about some of these learning concepts so they get a real sense into what the program entails.
Yeah. I'll pick out a couple of them.
Right. There's a lot.
There's a lot. Again, it's a 135-hour program. It will go quickly. And I will tell you that I wish I had some of my, I wish that, are there any alumni on the call today from my program? I'm just wondering if anyone's on today. Did anybody pop up?
No.
Because when 6 o'clock comes, they still want to stay in the Zoom room. And I've been talking for all day. So we look at a coaching leader mindset and what is coach driven leadership and what does that mean? The breaking down barriers is such an important part of this program. You'll hear me say over and over again, you have to have the breakdown in order to have the breakthrough. And we do allow ourselves to be vulnerable to this program so that we can transform. I promise you, you will not leave the program the same person that you entered it as. We look at change management. That's very big right now, especially with COVID, how we're working with virtual teams as well as teams in person. Let's see what else. Dynamic communication and collaboration, big. Purpose, vision, and missions for individuals and teams is really the baseline to begin to build a super strong culture. So you will be able to, a lot of coaching programs are just teaching you one-on-one, right? You will be able to use this with groups, your skills with groups and teams, right? When we're going to look at different assessments, setting goals, achievement, accountability, planning and goal setting. Let's see, building a coaching culture is, I think, something that Dale and I are both passionate about, right? We're going to look at that. Managing conflict and difficult conversations. Who does not need to know how to do that in today's business? And I couldn't go through the list without specifically mentioning cultivating trust and safety. When you have trust built in a relationship or in an organization, it will change the trajectory of the relationship and the organization. When we look at the 5 behaviors model, we see that trust is the first foundation. You really can't go anywhere without that. And I think that's why our program has been so successful, because we do build trust from day one. The other thing that I want to mention is, as soon as you register for the program, you're going to be put into a community with all of the other students. So even if you register today or next week or the week after, even though the program doesn't officially start the 27th, the program starts for you when you register, because you'll enter into the collaboration group. And there'll be some PCC and MCC coaches in there. There'll be some alumni in there. Probably see Dale and I popping in and out of there, Susan, Maura, and all the new people that we're going to meet. And we do the business development. So is anything else jumping out at you, Dale? There's so much to cover. It's hard to, I don't want to bore them with a list.
And I will tell you, and I'm not one that gets too emotional and other things, but I will tell you, in these programs, when you're interacting with the class, you will cry, you will share, you will you'll become vulnerable, and it'll feel great. It really will. And if someone like me can say that, then it's true for most folks. And so, as I said, we're not here trying to just push this anyone, and we're recording this, and snippets of this we'll put on LinkedIn and others.
Yeah.
But this is a challenging time in the world, and it's a challenging time in business. It's a challenging time at home, and to develop some people skills that really help you become a better person, become a better coordinator, and become a better supporter of other people. Now, there's a concept too, and I see John Griffith is on, and I don't see Scott Livingood, of this idea of coach leadership, which is an offshoot. You're not going to be a coach with coach leadership, but a lot of the skills that you utilize in coaching are critical now if you are going to be an effective leader. If you're going to, I have the opportunity of being pastor of a church, and so using coach leadership to be part of that. And that coach leadership is putting other people first, where as opposed to command and control leadership, where you put yourself first because it's about me. And so these skills, and so this, as we said, this kind of program can be so helpful in all aspects of your life, outside whether or not you want to be an ICF certified coach.
Yeah. And there are people that go through the program. One of my alumni is a CFP, a CPA, and a JD.
Wow.
He really had no interest in getting the ICF credential when he started the program. And he is the biggest advocate now of having it. I mean, Dale, if we just, I'm going to share the story of the first day that I met you, and you handed me, we were speaking, and then we exchanged information, and you gave me your business card. You actually wrote down every one of your email numbers on a piece of paper, right? But you weren't sure if they were correct. And then you handed me your card, and I thought to myself, here is this gentleman with a doctorate. Like, after the doctorate, it's kind of like enough said, right? But you had ACC, you had that credential after your doctorate. And let's think about that, everyone. You know what I mean? I mean, I have a colleague that I do a lot of work with. She's a PhD in psychology from Princeton. She's an ACC. I tease her, like, enough said after PhD or EDD, but it really is important. You may not think you're interested in the credential in the beginning, and that's okay. But you may along the journey feel like it's important. I don't know when you entered the program, Dale, if you were looking for the skills or you were interested in the credential, but
it's a point of pride. I mean, again, and I liken the cohort. In fact, I wouldn't have a doctorate if I didn't have just a wonderful cohort. That cohort, well, I liken the same thing. This cohort that you're going to be part of will be part of your life forever and really be transformative. And so, so it is every bit. It's different than the doctorate, and we're hoping Jo will get her doctorate. But it provides a different set, but an equal sense of satisfaction. But it's a very different sense of satisfaction.
I believe this is, grab, this is a great quote. If I can get access to it real quick. I actually just added it to the website because it's an organizational psychologist. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
I'm just going to highlight above our services. And Adam Grant is an organizational psychologist from Wharton. And he's quoted as saying, I've come to believe that coaching might be even more essential than mentoring to our careers and our teams. Whereas mentors dole out words of wisdom, coaches roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. They don't just believe in our potential, they get in the arena to help us realize our potential. They hold up a mirror so that we can see our blind spots, and they hold us accountable for working through our sore spots. They take responsibility for making us better without taking credit for our accomplishments.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And I just felt like that is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I would love for him to say more essential than mentoring and leadership, right? Because as leaders, as leaders in organizations, we are also mentors.
Yep.
Right. But we can also be coaches as well. So.
Absolutely. And so you go through the program, you sign up for the program, you go through the program, you've started your coaching business, you're making money coming out of the program.
When I went
So-
through my program, the program that I went to years ago,
Mhm.
it took a year and it was excellent.
Mhm.
But I had 6 months in, I had made my tuition back.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
So,
my
yeah.
tuition was more than our tuition.
Yeah, but with the way that coaching is paying now, literally one paid client at a normal rate will pay more than $10,000. And so, if you're working with an executive. So the other thing is, so you've gone through the program, you've done this, you've started your business. What's next? Well, I'm going to embarrass Joe. The next thing is to get active in ICF. So you were just elected to what position in the New Jersey ICF?
I see you smiling and you better be right behind me. I was just nominated I'm president-elect. So I'm president-elect this year. Mark Solantana is our current president. He's amazing. It's a 3-year position. So you become president-elect and then past president. So we're doing some great things. Can I plug something for the ICF New Jersey, Dale?
Of course,
right
yeah.
now?
That's what we're here.
Okay, great.
Over here.
So right now, ICF New Jersey is working with the Ignite Global Initiative. And so the ICF has aligned with a program that correlates to the United Nations goals
Mhm.
going forward. And so New Jersey has participated in the initiative, and we just were able to get 25 highly experienced coaches that are credentialed to volunteer 10 hours of their services. And we're going to be working with an organization called Homefront, as well as the Consortium of Homeless Shelters through the state of New Jersey. And they will then, and our coaches, our ICF New Jersey coaches, are volunteering to give free coaching to those individuals that work with that population.
Wonderful.
So we're really excited to do that. And we're really excited that we got 25 volunteers. So
and kudos to you. And so, as I said, if you sign up for this, you're entering a whole new community, a whole new world, and that is socially responsible, a world that cares about people, a world that requires expertise. And the other thing about this is that your skills are never perfected. You will, coaches continue to coach each other, to practice each other, to push each other, to challenge each other, to say, hey, you could do this. How could you do this a little better? And so if you're into kind of, honing yourself and becoming, and so there are a lot of folks who coached, who are excellent coaches, who are outstanding coaches. But by being part of a coaching community, it just naturally raises the quality of your coaching so that you can be that much more effective and feel better about what you're doing and be a real part of an important community.
And Dale, Maura and Susan and I have been really also talking about the opportunities for graduates of the program to work within other areas of Fairleigh using their coaching skill set. There's so much that you do both with Fairleigh and just in our community in helping people that are in need, and they could bring that may never be able to afford or use this or afford to hire someone with this skill set. So there's lots of opportunity. In addition to our program being, I think, really special, right? There's lots of opportunity within the university, within Rothman, the Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, as well as working with alumni, as well as working with me on different projects. It really, as I said, it really truly is a community that we're building.
Yeah, it really is. And then Ron West and I are part of the leadership group at the Silberman College of Business at Fairleigh. And, as I'm thinking, Ron, that, even having a team coaching session or even an informal session for professors, for adjunct and others, because these skills are so important in connecting to kids today and really helping students get the most out of their classes. And I think that would set FDU apart from other universities to really try to make sure that this coaching, teaching type approach is out there, because at the end of the day now it's about recruiting as many quality students as possible. And that's what we're about at FDU.
Yeah,
So we have a few more minutes, and I'm, as you can tell, we're very excited about this, and just very excited about having Joe on the team. Joe, what else? Anything else that you're thinking about?
What I'm going to do is I'm actually dropping so I am the lead instructor in the program, and I just welcome any of you to reach out to me personally if you have any questions. And we are having some information sessions coming up. Susan, at 12:32, Susan posted the link on the website for the coach certification. You can also sign up for information sessions there. We'll be having, I think, 2 for each of the next 3 weeks. We're doing some in the morning, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening each week. I'm also just dropping into the chat my cell phone number, because I know this is somewhat of a closed community, and my email. So please feel free to reach out to me directly, as well as, the team, the whole team. I mean, Susan was supporting a student the other day. Les was supporting a student the other day. So we're all here to help you. But if you're really interested in the specifics of curriculum and that part of it, or just want to talk coaching, reach out to me, and I'm available.
Joe, it's important to state too that this could be a multi-month process, a year process for you to discern that I want to be a coach. So giving a call, because we're going to have this program in perpetuity. And so the idea is you may say, hey, this sounds really interesting. I'm too busy now. I can't do it now, but tell me about this. Can I set up, when's the next cohort? Or why? And we don't expect you overnight. It's not, this is a one-time deal. No, this is a life-changing thing that, you can decide now, in December or next year, but it's worth considering if you really care about growing other people.
Yeah, I think it's a great time of year, kicking off in the new year. Everyone is setting intentions and goals for how they want to show up at work and at home. So it's a nice time to jump in if you have the time. But we are, the program will be running a few times a year. So there's no urgency, but we would just love to have you join us whenever you can and whenever it's convenient. And we also do have that. We also do, the school was kind enough to give us that discount for a period of time for registration. So that's part of the reason we wanted to sort of jump out here ahead and let everyone know to be able to take advantage of that. But we are here in perpetuity. Again, we're building a community, right, Dale? Yep. And so, reach out to me. You don't have to do it for this time. You could do it for next time. It's, we're here for longevity, with longevity.
And the other thing that it's important to say is that, we can, talk to maybe even some of the other graduates of the program about the program too, is that we can, if you want to talk to folks about consulting, coaching, and about what kind of business you can build, et cetera, we can make that available too.
You know what I was thinking, Dale? I hate to say this live, but we could also do we could do an info session with alumni.
Yeah.
We can make one of our info sessions alumni. We're really active on LinkedIn. If you check out my LinkedIn profile or Susan's LinkedIn profile or Dale's, when we post about the school, they are giving some nice testimonials. So I'm sure that they would come. Maybe we'll make that one of our.
That's a great idea.
That's a great way to do
it. Well, Joe, as always, this is great. Always great talking to you. I hope we got people at least thinking about this concept called coaching, executive coaching, and I'm really excited. I think we're going to have a great class, and to kick it off, and it'll be fun. So thank you very much, and thank you all for watching. Have a great weekend.
Coming.
Don't do too much shoveling. Hopefully, those in the Northeast. So,
and have an amazing, happy, healthy New Year to everyone.
Yes, yes. Let's make 2022 one of your best years ever. So
Absolutely.
take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.